Hathorne is my first restaurant project that's totally my own. I've been in the restaurant industry for almost 30 years. I created Hathorne when I saw this building on Charlotte that was for sale. It was the fellowship hall of the West Nashville Methodist Church. And the church was being converted into an event space. This was the fellowship hall that was semi-attached to it. And I fell in love with the building immediately. I'd always liked the Sylvan Park neighborhood. And the building really spoke to me because it sat back from the street, it had these beautiful windows, and it was just a nice size and shape for a restaurant. And once we got in and started looking at the building, we realized that it was really special. It was a fellowship hall. It was a place where people gathered for potlucks and dinners together. They had classes, they had refugee outreach, and the Methodist Church really used it as a gathering place for the community. So it sparked my interest because that's exactly what I wanted to keep doing with it. I wanted it to be a community place where people could gather around the table and share food, which is something I grew up doing in Mississippi with my very large extended family. That was kind of our thing. We would have 60 people over for, Thanksgiving and all the food that came along with it. So I feel like Hathorne, the restaurant, really exemplifies a place where we can take a building that would probably have been torn down, renovate it, and continue to use it in the way that it was originally designed for. Working with Dryden Architecture and Steelhead contractors, we were able to retain many of the features of the building, including some of the original steel beams in the ceiling, some of the original oak flooring, which was underneath a bunch of linoleum over the years. And essentially, it's the same shape as it was, but we've enhanced that by using some of the elements from the Methodist Church, reincorporating them, like the pews from the church and the prayer rail from the church as a big room divider. So we feel like we have adapted and reused many of the elements that made the building special in the first place. And it really makes for a beautiful space to come into and enjoy food at our restaurant. Hathorne was named after my grandmother, Mary Ruth Hathorne. So her name and the church building itself, I think, really fit together. It's an old Irish name and it's an early American name. And the building itself was an old church building, so it really fit together in a nice way. And so in that way, we wanted to pay homage to what the building was. So we have some signs that were in there. There's actually a memorial plate that shows the original church and fellowship hall that we've got in the building that I kept there. And it was really great to be able to take, again, some of the pews and some of the prayer rail. I've got the deacon's chairs from the church. We've got a hymnal board that we have up that we list specials and things on. So it's really nice to kind of incorporate some of that into the church without going overboard and making it feel like you're going into church, because we do serve alcohol. So it's one of those things where we want to make people feel comfortable, but not too churchy.